Hello there friends and welcome for today's very special Pathfinder Enhanced Guide. We have a Kitsune dual wielding AZATA character. Yes, we'll be going the AZATA Mythic path as it's been requested a lot. Plus through it and Mutation Warrior, we can achieve the most absurd physical scores possible. 64 strength despite being a Kitsune, 52 dexterity and even 47 constitution. And yes, you can also fight in Kitsune form, at the cost of some minor stat reduction, but still 60 strength. We have 8 dual wielding scimitar attacks at extreme critical range, 15 to 20, and pretty good critical damage too. Plus, thanks to AZATA superpowers such as Incredible Might, whenever you score a critical hit or charge at the enemy, and Kitsunes can charge even without a SKALD, demons and all other sorts of nasty foes will be debuffed, with some pretty powerful effects such as stunned, prone, and even instantly killed. The AZATA path also lets us achieve the most hilarious amount of armor class possible despite no investment whatsoever in any defensive feat or multi-classing combination, all thanks to mutagen stacking. Now this isn't really necessary, because even without it all, we still have pretty high reach with our dual wielded scimitars, and can eventually rely on Ivo, the dragon companion special to the AZATA Mythic path, for her armor class. Amazing amount of attacks per round, and even spellcasting with many powerful support spells. So without further ado, let us get into our dual wielding Kitsune Mutation Warrior build. Well, for this dual wielding build, I'll be going Mutation Warrior. The main reason is to stack our physical ability scores as high as possible, thanks to the mutagen we get, also the AZATA Believe in Yourself spell. Plus, with AZATA we can actually replenish the uses of our mutagen to apply it multiple times to different stats, while also increasing our AC even further. Dual wielding characters also tend to have lower attack rolls because of the penalties from dual wielding, but through Fighter we have enough feats and abilities to overcome that. The Capstone Weapon Mastery is amazing for our scimitars, as it will increase their critical damage even further. You can of course go with other classes if you prefer, although they will not have as high stats as this combo. There is always Ranger and Demon Slayer, and you can go with, let's say, Deliverer. Even Cavalier can work too. But once again, I also wanted a class that doesn't have a pet. We get Ivo the Dragon anyways if you want to ride one. And well, riding a dragon is certainly more stylish than a dog or wolf. For race, I'll be going Kitsune for that special feel. Plus, their Change Shape ability has amazing synergy with the Master Shapeshifter mythic ability for an easy +4 polymorph to all of our physical scores. However, you can truly go with any race you want. Fighter has enough bonus feats to make anything work with this build. For your Kitsune heritage, go with King Kitsune. We don't really need the extra charisma from the normal Kitsune. Then the background is the same as usual, Street Urchin and Pickpocket, and this build will get very high initiative. As far as ability points, amusingly enough, we are going for a full focus into strength. Even though we start with a penalty to it, we can still reach 64 strength. Plus, you guys asked for something different, and well, dexterity kitsunes are pretty basic. Why not go for a muscled up bodybuilding kitsune instead for something different? 17 dexterity is more than enough, and look, even if we start with higher dexterity than strength at character creation, once again, you still end up with 64 strength. Now, when it comes to your other stats, you don't really need charisma, so you might as well dump it. You can also end at 12 constitution and then 10 in one of these stats if you prefer. For skill points, use Magic Device can always help, as we are a fighter so we won't be able to cast any spells other than AZATA mythic ones. You might as well go with Athletics too, as we'll end up with a lot of strength. The same for Trickery and Stealth, unless you have another character that can take care of it. Or you can go with Mobility too, since we have a ratio bonus to it, even if it's not a class skill. As far as your level 1 feats, thankfully since we are going strength, we are spared the annoying dexterity feat attacks such as Weapon Finesse and later Mythic Finesse, which I find very annoying. For now, Weapon Focus and Scimitars, as early on you'll have an annoying penalty when dual wielding them. And then, well, we are going dual wielding, so 2-weapon fighting. Just remember, if you find the penalty with dual scimitars too heavy for the early game, especially if you are on unfair, well, you can either go with Kukris or just have a scimitar on your main hand and then a light weapon on the offhand. For Deity, any that allows the AZATA alignments, Desna fits it just fine, especially lore-wise, so you might as well pick her. And then Chaotic, good. If you started with 12 intelligence, you won't gain 4 skill points at some levels. I would then focus into use Magic Device, Athletics, and then choose between Trickery, Stealth or Mobility. You already have Camellia with Trickery, so I'd rather go for Stealth. For level 2, I'd go for Improved Initiative. The sooner we can act, the easier it is to catch enemies flat-footed, which means they'll have much lower AC for the first round. Even better to make up for our penalty when dual wielding. Just remember, this character until around level 6 or so will be a glass cannon, so it is in your best interest to enlarge them through the spell Enlarge Person to grant them reach early on so you can attack from far away. For level 3, combat reflexes to ensure we get attacks of opportunity even if we roll low on initiative. Plus we have such high dexterity that we'll also get loads of extra ones. At this level we also get the mutagen to strength, which will highly increase our AB and damage. At level 4, increased strength, which is also what you should increase on all of the other levels. For level 4, weapon specialization into scimitars. For level 5, outflank no doubt. Even better for this build, because the extra +2 to AB when flanking the enemy is amazing when dual wielding. Then weapon training into heavy blades, as scimitars are part of this group. For level 6 you have 2 choices. You can already pick Improved Weapon Fighting here for the extra offhand attack, or the highly useful Lunge to give you reach even with scimitars. Honestly, the one you don't pick here, you'll pick at the next level, so it's not that much of a difference. I'd rather have reach, and this will stack with Enlarged Person too. So for level 7, either Improved Weapon Fighting or Lunge. Then Feral Mutagen to grant us a bite attack per round, which will stack with the Kitsune's bite attack. For level 8, Improved Critical and Scimitars, so now our dual wielded scimitars will already have 15 to 20 critical range, which is amazing. For level 9, Greater Weapon Focus and Scimitar. As I said, this build will have a lot of bonuses to AB, so even with dual wielding, you'll still have enough attack rolls. For your second weapon training ability, Effortless Dual Wielding, as this will make scimitars count as if they were light weapons for dual wielding purposes, which means even less penalties to dual wielding, just as if they were, let's say, a dagger, a kukri, or a short sword. Then keep progression into heavy blades, which is also what you should increase on all of the other secondary weapon training procs as you level up. For level 10, Power Attack. While you don't get as high a bonus with this when dual wielding instead of two-handing, you can still make for a decent increase. After all, it will be applied to all of your scimitar attacks, main hand and offhand. For level 11, Greater two-weapon fighting for our third and final offhand attack. Now, to get this at this level, be sure to equip your Kitsune with any belt that increases dexterity by at least 2. Then pick the Feral Wings Discovery. For level 12, Greater Weapon Specialization and Scimitar. For level 13, well, as a matter of fact, Kitsunes can get the special feat Vulpine Pounce, which grants them the Pounce ability while in Kitsune form for full attacks even when charging, something that has a lot of synergy with the AZATA Mythic Path. You can potentially even pick this earlier at around level 10, let's say, instead of Power Attack, and then delay the ones for after this. The thing is, I often go with SKALDs and they can already provide Pounce, except their Pounce will also apply to the Kitsune's human form, which is great for synergy with Master Shapeshifter. I'm just saying, if you don't have a SKALD, go with Vulpine Pounce and you can pick it earlier too. Anyways, as I already have a SKALD to provide Pounce, I'll be going with Double Slice instead, for extra damage to our offhand. The damage increase isn't that high for a lot of the game, which is why I prefer to delay this for now, as we have a lot of other more useful feats to pick before. Then Trained Initiative to get even higher initiative for our weapon training ability. For level 14, well, we might as well get started into our Shatter Defenses package, so Dazzling Display for now. Then at level 15, Shatter Defenses, and just in time for all of my other builds. At last, we can also finally upgrade our mutagen to the greater version. And remember, AZATAs can apply multiple ones of these at the same time, although not to the same ability score. The armor class bonus though will stack. Now, from level 16 onwards, you can truly pick any feats you want, and we have a lot of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 extra feats you can choose as anything. Blind Fight is not needed for AZATA because they can get the echolocation spell through their mythic spell book. Since we have so many feats to spare, I want to get started on the cleave line, mostly for cleaving finish and improved cleaving finish to grant us even more attacks per round. After all, since we are already maxing out our physical ability scores, why not get as many attacks as we can too in the spirit of dual wielding? Anyways, for me it is cleave. Don't bother using Cleave or Great Cleave, they're just here, so we can get the actual good ones. Then at 17, Cleaving Finish for yet another attack whenever we kill an enemy. For level 18, Great Cleave. As for 19, at last, improved Cleaving Finish, so now whenever we kill an enemy, our chain of cleaves can keep on going. And of course, Grand Mutagen for even higher bonuses. At level 20, we get a highly powerful Weapon Mastery for even higher critical damage, and of course, you want Scimitars. Now your last feat can truly be anything you want. I'll just go for improved critical and bite, as this build can get up to 3 extra bite attacks. Alright, now let us talk Mythic Progression for our dual-wielding Kitsune AZATA. Well, Close to the Abyss is by far the best as usual, since we are a melee character. The gore attack is amazing. In the spirit of role-playing, perhaps, you might also consider Instrument of Freedom, the AZATA mythic ability. It can be decent when it comes to buffing your allies with holy damage. As for Mythic rank 1, I want you to do something different, since we are going Kitsune, and a melee one at that. Master Shapeshifter, as whenever our Kitsune changes into human form, they'll get a +4 to all of their physical ability scores, and this is of the polymorph type, so we'll stack with everything else. If you were on Unfair, you might consider Last Stand early. The thing is, this build has reach, and also a path to ride later on, so it's not like you'll be dying a lot. For Mythic rank 2, since we get improved critical earlier as a fighter at level 8, I'm pretty sure at this point you can already go for Mythic critical and Scimitar for even higher critical damage. For me, I almost always get Mythic 2 at around level 8, just in time for this. Otherwise, if you find yourself lower than level 8, I suppose if you skipped some content this can happen, well, then go for Mythic weapon fighting instead, to highly increase our AB with all of our attacks. For Mythic level 3, as usual, Ever Ready, which is even better for a high critical build like us, especially when dual-wielding Scimitars. For Mythic rank 4, either Mythic critical if you couldn't pick it before, but to me, Mythic power attack, as I already have the normal power attack by this level. This can eventually add up to +18 extra damage to both our offhand and main hand attacks, and it even gets multiplied on critical hits too, so amazing. Now as for your first AZATA superpower, please remember that I already have a complete AZATA guide where I explain each one of these in depth, that you can check to the side here or in the pinned comments down below. For now, I'll try to keep it simple. 100% Incredible Might. This can not only highly increase your attack rolls and damage by a morale bonus equal to your Mythic rank, so +10 at max level, but anyways, the secondary proc is really powerful. Whenever you hit the enemy with a charge attack or confirm a critical hit, and get this, we have amazing critical range for dual-wielded Scimitars, and we can also charge either through a SKALD or the Vulpine Pounce ability. The enemy has to make a Fortitude saving throw, or suffer one of these very debilitating effects such as stun, prone, exhausted, even outright killed. The DC with this build will be very high because it's equal to 10 plus Mythic rank plus Strength modifier. Trust me, this superpower really is a game changer, and since it is a passive, you'll have lots of fun with it. For Mythic level 5, as this build is all about charging too, and like I said, you don't even need a SKALD for it, Mythic Charge. For Mythic rank 6, either Mythic to weapon fighting or Mythic weapon focus, both have the same effect at this point, a +2 to all of our attacks AB. Then for your second superpower, amusingly enough, Zippy Magic can be good even for a melee AZATA build, because with this, you can apply some buffs to 2 characters at once, including the highly powerful Believe in Yourself spell that lets you get extremely high ability scores. Be sure to pick the echolocation spell at this rank to bypass any concealment the enemy might have, without having to rely on blind fight. For Mythic rank 7, honestly the ones we have left aren't that useful for us. I would just pick Always a Chance, because I really hate automatic misses when rolling a 1. For Mythic 8, well, either Mythic Focus or Specialization depending on what you want. More damage or more AB. Then you can pick the other one at Mythic 10 or even Mythic Initiative. It's just that this build has high enough dexterity not to need Mythic Initiative, at least to me. For another superpower, well, either All Skilled or Life Bonding Friendship. I don't tend to pick Life Bonding, so might as well go with it for once. We're all about trying new things with this build. And then, well, I'd go for Shake It Off here. As for Mythic 9, well, you can either pick Last Stand, just in case as usual, or even something like Unrelenting Assault. It's just that the bonus isn't going to make that much of a difference. And then, Precise Strike. At this point you can easily convert the extra damage to Irresistible Force anyways through the Bane of Spirit Ring. There's also Allied Spellcaster too, but at this point you can get a headband that grants this effect to everyone anyways. As for Mythic rank 10, well, the remaining feat you didn't pick before, in my case, Mythic Weapon Specialization. Alright, now let us cover gear for our Kitsune AZATA Dual Wielder. I would be in Kitsune form, but as you can see, our swords have way too strong holy effects on them. We are simply too holy. Definitely more toned down in human form. Anyways, for the amulet slot, as always Valexias, especially because with this build, the intent was to min-max and get as high strength as possible despite the racial penalty. Before that, as usual, some of the rare amulets that increase initiative. When it comes to armor, if you want the most absurd AC possible, then you don't want any armor. Otherwise, since armor doesn't really matter for us because of reach, and the fact we can just ride Ivo, our dragon, there's as always the Chainmail of Camaraderie for the huge bonus when flanking, and the bonus applies to both the main and the offhand. For the shirt slot, the best one is Wandering Calm Man as usual. You can have some ranks in trickery, it also enhances athletics, plus the best part is of course the bonus to attacks of opportunity, and because of our extreme dexterity and combat reflexes, we get more than enough. Now be sure to also go for the Robe of the Seven Sins to increase your AZATA caster level, so you can get higher duration on some of the powerful buffs you have. For the belt slot, at first, belts that increase strength. Ultimately, all of them. You are the main character, so you might as well save the rare belts of physical perfection plus 6 to yourself. For gloves, the choice is simple, and as usual, Defense's Gift, not only because of the bonus when dual wielding, but most importantly the extra power to weapon training too. For boots, you have two choices. Ronex Sacrifice if you want to get the highest AC possible. Otherwise, as usual, the Boots of Stampede for extra damage by charging, and once again, this build can full attack and charge even without a SKALD, thanks to Vulpine Pounce. For the helmet, at first, Windmaster for the bonus to initiative. We don't really require any mental stats with this build, but eventually, the Hat of the Bitter End as usual. The bonus really is that good, and it stacks. For glasses, two choices, Broken Trickster. Although, well, your wisdom and charisma don't really matter outside of saving throws. The tanking effect can be quite powerful in a pinch if you ever get hit. Otherwise, just the goggles of Piercing Gaze for extra damage against demons. For cloaks, there really is nothing else other than Cloaks of Resistance plus 6, as the AZATA Mythic Cloak is rather poor. For rings, the Ring of Guiding Star to get even higher initiative, as I didn't go for Mythic Initiative with this build. And of course, Bane of Spirit is as overpowered as always, for full damage regardless of the type. As you can also equip it on any other character, the Ring of Evasion can help too. We have such high dexterity that you'll get high reflexes too. For braces, you have two choices. For the highest AC, braces of armor with the highest effect. Otherwise, the bracers of Heavy Hand for even higher offhand damage. Alright, now let us talk weapons and Quickslots. I went with scimitars for this build, but the reality is, you can also go with kukris, or even rapiers. They're all amazing weapons with the highest critical range possible. When it comes to scimitars, the best ones are first, Dawnflower's Kiss for the main hand. This has Holy, which is always in demand, and whenever you get a critical hit, you'll get not only a huge +4 bonus to AB, but even an extra attack per round. Talk about a great weapon. As for the offhand, the Faith Bearer, once again it has Holy. The secondary property doesn't matter much because you won't have high ranks into Lore Religion. Still, Holy is more than good enough, especially on a scimitar. For the other scimitars, including full progression, please remember that I already have a complete scimitars guide you can check to the site here or in the pinned comments down below. And as usual, don't forget the Fiery Spellweaver Quarterstaff if you want to get more duration on some of your buffs. As far as Quickslots, Extend and Lesser Extend rods, once again to get higher duration of some AZATA buffs. The Imp Familiar is here if you went with Trickery and Stealth. The Lucky Dice has a lot of nice bonuses. Jarsigax as always for more damage. The Signet of House Vespertilio to increase any skill of choice. There's also the Tankard of Free Spirit that has unique effects when used by an AZATA for a decentish summon, well, at least for how early you can get it. And as always, since we have Use Magic Device, any scroll you want to complement your AZATA spells. Well, alright friends, so this was it for my AZATA Kitsune Dual Wielder guide. If you found this guide useful, please remember to like, subscribe, also become a channel member if you can, to help keep the channel going. Thank you for watching and see you next time. And as a matter of fact, I also have another special Kitsune build prepared, so stay tuned.